Has the day finally come? Has the Yeezy Boost 350 V2 finally come back from the dead? Over the last year or so, we've been hearing a lot of people talk about it. The 350's dead. Kanye's lost his touch. He can't come up with anything original. But in my opinion, with the release of the Trueform or Terraform and Hyperspace 350s that we saw on March 16th, and then finally with the release of the Clay colorway in the Americas on March 30th, I think they took a big step in the right direction. Which is kind of funny because when I saw pictures of these three colorways, I really wasn't a fan. But trust me, those pictures didn't do these any justice. There's a lot of nuance and a lot of shift in hue and color, and that's just something that you've got to see in person to really appreciate. So as I stated, back on March 16th, we saw two colorways released exclusively for Europe, Asia, and Africa. One of those was the Trueform or Terraform, and the other was the Hyperspace colorway. I did try to get the Hyperspace and the Terraform, but I wasn't able to secure a pair. But thankfully, on March 30th, we were able to get our pair in the Americas, the Clay colorway. And I was lucky enough to hit on the Foot Locker app, so I got to secure my size. Now, just walking into the mall, I could tell this release was different. If you've tried to copy Yeezy over the last year or so, you know that it's been pretty easy to do so. If you want one, if you put in a little work, you're gonna get your pair. But with this Clay release, I'm telling you, Foot Locker was packed. There was a line that I haven't seen in a long time, and if we look at resale prices, I think that reflects there as well. So just how good is the Clay colorway? Let's get into the review. As always, we do have this reverse prime knit upper. Now, since the static colorway, we did see a change in the pattern of the prime knit. I'd say there's a lot more geometric shapes throughout. You can actually see quite a few squares and rectangles. I think it's a more interesting look. Now, even though the official colorway is clay/clay/clay, I actually do think that they break it up a little bit. The color definitely differs through the different parts of the shoe. So the main prime knit on the shoe is kind of the same color that you would see maybe on a Band-Aid or something like that. But if you take a look at that center stitch that you always see on a 350 V2, it's actually more of like a wheat or a gold color. And then if you take a look at the translucent plastic mesh stripe, it's kind of a faded salmon or peach color. Something that I really like about the translucent stripe is that they really took advantage of it by coloring that plastic cage that's in the toe box to keep the structure of the shoe. And they even added an extra piece of material between the ankle padding and the plastic mesh, which gives you this coral or peach stripe that leads into one of my favorite details of the shoe, the pull tab. And this particular pull tab stands out for obvious reasons. They did it in this bright tangerine orange, which is a really nice contrast from the rest of the kind of muted, subdued tones that we see throughout the rest of the shoe. Moving on to another one of my favorite details of the Clay 350 is the midsole. And again, I think this is another detail that you really can't appreciate until you see it in person. But at the top of the midsole, you've got this really cool coral or peach color that just gradually fades out and gives you this really nice gradient. And something else to note about the midsole, it's more translucent than what I've seen before. So you can really see that full-length boost unit. Now continuing to the outsole, we see a continuation of that translucent. We've seen other translucent or semi-translucent outsoles on 350s, but this one is more so on the translucent side. Again, you can see exactly where that boost unit starts and stops, which I think is a really cool touch. Now, if you've had a 350 before, obviously you already know this shoe is stupid comfortable. And again, if you've had a 350 before, you already know sizing on these is typically about a half size smaller, which is unfortunate for me because I'm a size 12, and Adidas doesn't make a lot of 12.5, so I'm usually stuck with a 12. It's a lot more snug than I'd like it to be. But with this 350, I got a size 12 and it fits perfect. And I don't know if that's just a one-off thing and I got lucky, but I'm really happy with the way that these fit. But part of me thinks they might just be shaping them differently. If I compare the toe box of the Clay, it's a little bit more round than what I've seen before, and it looks like it has a little bit more height. So maybe that's where I'm feeling the difference. So back to the original question. Is the 350 back from the dead? Well, in a lot of ways, I would definitely say that these three regionally exclusive 350s took a step in the right direction, but I don't personally think that the 350 is ever going to be back to the status that it was before, where we were seeing resale value that was triple or even quadruple the original retail price. And for me in particular, I'm not really too worried about that. The way I am, I take a look at a shoe, I decide if it looks good or not. Hype and resale value aren't really a deciding factor for me on whether or not I like a shoe. So for me personally, I really like the Clay 350, and I hope to see some more imaginative thinking from Kanye moving forward. But enough from me, I want to know what you guys think about the shoe. So down in the comments, let me know, do you think the 350 is back from the dead? How do you feel about the Clay 350 as well as the other two regionally exclusive colorways that we've seen drop recently? And as always, if you liked the video, please do me a favor, hit the like button, it really helps. And also subscribe if you want to see more videos like this moving forward. Thanks for watching and checking out my review. I'll see you in the next one.